Hey there, Adam here. We are with our cover artist for Armored Half, Adam Riches. How you doing?
I'm doing great, other Adam. How are you?
All the Adams here together. Many Adams involved in Armored Half. And in fact, when we were conceiving of this project, we thought, hey, there's one artist we know who is very dynamic, very exciting, and also very able to just be flexible to expand like into so many different realms. And so when we presented the idea of an homage cover to you for this project, what was your thought?
Um, I love all the same stuff you do. So I think that it was just sort of a peanut butter and jelly situation. Obviously I love Wizard Magazine. I have the entire run. I'm also obsessed with 90s Marvel, which obviously we've homaged Spider-Man Unlimited #1 here. And very much in my peak childhood years of collecting, very much in my wheelhouse. And so I was just ready to jump on board. Excited, I guess, is the short answer.
Yeah, absolutely. We knew it. You had been a guest on the podcast previously, so we were very aware of your passion and everything beyond that. So the question I have is, as we went through a couple different ideas. We were all like passing ideas back and forth. What cover could we do? And it's like, well, Spider-Man #1's been done to death. Spawn #1, Crisis on Infinite Earths. So you don't want to hit the same thing over and over again. So Spider-Man Unlimited #1, definitely iconic during that Maximum Carnage era. So what did you have to think about as you're going to say, okay, now I'm going to take Sir William and Andy from Armored and put them into these spots?
I mean, obviously, homage covers are a popular thing in comics now, swipes, whatever you want to call them. And I feel like a lot of them, I'm trying to think of how to articulate this. They get a little too loose with the concept. And for me, I remember something that a teacher said to me in art school that was basically like, if you're going to exaggerate something or you're going to stylize something, you better make it so obvious that that was your intent, because otherwise it kind of just looks like you don't know how to draw. And I don't know if that's not totally applicable here, but I kind of feel that same way about doing an homage cover. That if you can't make it almost fit into the exact same mold to the point where people are questioning if it is an homage or not, then you didn't do your job. And so I think when we decided that this was the cover we were doing, my first train of thought was, how do we sort of deconstruct this image and sort of make this, like, I don't know, backwards compatible, that like every element has to fit into the spot that it was originally in. So like, okay, well, obviously Andy isn't swinging from a web, so what takes that spot? Well, his sword can take that spot. And like, you know, Sir William doesn't have like slime drip and a claw hand, but like, is there a way that we can make him fit in this exact same spot? And so the first step is really just like basically tracing the image in blue line and figuring out like, how can I exactly reconstruct this in the exact same spots but maintain everything that's unique about Armored in these characters?
I gotta say too, like when we first saw the image, we were just like, wow, like because there's just an energy coming off it in addition to like the nostalgic component. But there's something about the way you presented these characters, same poses, but even I mean, I'm not to say anything against the original piece, but this one just has a little bit more electricity to it. Is there something in your process where you're able to say like, oh, I can add kind of some kinetic energy to this?
I mean, a little bit. So I know my lighting really sucks. Sorry. There are things that, like, obviously the approach I took to this is very much the same exact approach that they would have taken to drawing Spider-Man. Or I really got to give a shout. Let's say Ron Lim. I don't want to say they. Ron Lim. So to drawing this, um, which is very much pencils on a blue line board, erase the pencils, black and white inks. But there are things that I guess they either wouldn't have done or couldn't have done back then, which is that, like, obviously, so I kind of built up some of that kinetic energy you're talking about. This is like dry brushing and like wet acrylic paint, spray bottles. So just to kind of, I don't even know how well this is conveying on camera. Sorry again, but that obviously I wanted Sir William to have sort of a ghastly glow, if you will. And so there are things that you build up energy through little subtleties. Like obviously if his hair is swooping this way and you can kind of make some of this stuff flow with that, that captures some of that a little bit. Same with like the trail of his shirt down here is sort of emulating the Carnage's, ectoplasmic slime, whatever. But also through the coloring a little bit, I think we have advantages now that they didn't have in 1993. And so obviously through the use of digital coloring, you're able to create glow effects and smearing and streaking and a translucent quality that they probably couldn't have really done in the same way back then. So you were seeing work that was very hyper realistic and detailed at that time period. People like Glenn Fabry were doing that kind of stuff, but it was all being done traditionally for the most part. Digital coloring was still very much in its infancy then. So I think being able to homage that now with modern techniques gives a lot more wiggle room for kind of upping that energy level, if you will, beyond just emulating the actual pencils.
Yeah, and what's fun about it too is when we presented it to you, you said, "Now, are you looking for like hyper realistic? Do you want painted because you do painting stuff as well, or do
Mm-hmm.
you want 90s comic book art?" And of course, we said 90s comic book art, but just imagine, there could have been, an Alex Ross style painted cover or whatever, like there's
Yeah.
or Glenn Fabry, like you said, there's so many directions we could have taken this, but we wanted the maximum retro feel to give everybody that 90s kick. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Adam, just for giving us this. It's been, our signature image as we've been promoting the Kickstarter. We funded it immediately. Like everybody out there was just as excited by seeing that and wanting to see, in the full cover when they get their printed versions. So it's just wonderful. And we hope it was as much fun for you as it was for us.
Oh, absolutely. It was my honor to do it. And also, as a collector, I'm just as excited to own this project. I mean, the fact that it comes with a catalog checklisting all of the Wizard half issues and stuff, like, I mean, that's, So I'm grateful and honored that my image gets to be what adorns this whole wonderful package.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again. And thank you all for backing this project. Remember, we still have plenty of stretch goals and other things on the way, adding to the fun. So thank you again. And hey, look for the next update.